Welcome to CyberBytes, the Podcast RSA Edition. I'm Oliver Legg, co-founder of Aspiron Search, and today I'm joined by Kristian Kamber, CEO and co-founder of Splicks AI. Splx are on an incredible growth trajectory, having raised twice last year, grown to over 20 people, and achieved user growth of 127% quarter over quarter. We talk about the successes and the challenges so far, and how Splx are leading the new wave of offensive AI security testing. Enjoy the show. Well, it's an absolute pleasure to welcome Kristian Kamber, the CEO and founder of AI security, offensive security vendor Splicks AI. Pleasure to have you on, Kris.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you.
I actually want to start this episode by reading off your LinkedIn profile of the highlights of 2024.
Yeah.
So, launched version 4 of your offensive security platform for AI, grew 127% quarter on quarter in customer and user base, grew the team to 20 people, and closed 20 plus enterprise clients on the platform.
Yeah.
Impressive work in second year of business. So eager to understand how you've done it.
I mean, there's a long way of preparation first. It took us some time. So as you see, it's V4 of the platform. So we were elaborating when we started first. It was manual red teaming. So the customers were requesting about, hey, before we protect from any kind of AI threats, what are really the risks? Can you test for the risks? Mm-hmm. And our team was so exhausted after a few weeks of testing. It's like, we need to automate this as much as possible. So the first version was kind of semi-automated, then we automated more and more stuff like integrations. We have now 70 plus integrations basically on the platform. Mm-hmm. And version 4 was basically for multimodal testing as well. So basically image, voice, attacks, even document upload we do with Glean, mm-hmm. One of our customers. And that's why the fourth version was basically ready to go get out of the beta and winning first customers. And so we were basically ready, having already sales cycles. Mm-hmm. And that was the turning moment when we switched from security or service-based revenue to product-based revenue.
Yeah, awesome. And do you still supplement the product with services, or is it now a pure
Absolutely
product?
Not. We have because in order to scale the product, you need to be completely focused on the product. I think. Mm-hmm. We work with partners and services. It's very necessary because the human in the loop can always assess a few new things, find new vulnerabilities, and find new threats, mm-hmm. train them, and when we find them together with our partners, we embed them into the platform. Mm-hmm. So we work with people like iconic people in the industry like Walter Haydock, Jason Haddix, Joseph Thacker, Daniel Miesler. They're well-known red teamers in the States and globally, and they always try to make us better. So which means, hey, what kind of new attack can we upload? Do you do custom data sets? Can we create our own attacks and stuff? So we've been very much focused on that bottom-up approach, where those small, I would say, security shops have been helping us to enhance the platform, right? Mm-hmm. And as the time now goes by, and I think we'll talk about it right now about Q1 and Q2, is that we're now switching slowly to the Fortune 500, mm-hmm. which have now multiple use cases, of course, and we have like really, really good traction with the big MSPs and Big Four, which are basically using our platform to deliver more services to their clients.
Yeah, brilliant. And we were speaking before shooting this about how it's been difficult to release the budget for AI security in this whole problem. And yeah, interested to hear kind of the challenge around that up until this point, and then also the post you made earlier today about JP Morgan CEO talking about it and bringing it more into light. So what, up until that point where hopefully it's going to be changing with more readily available budget, how are you addressing that challenge before?
That's a perfect question. It's exactly explaining the complexity of the market. Like it's infancy still, right? Because AI and LLMs are non-deterministic. The behavior of AI, or how to basically assess the behavior of AI, can be only done by people who have been dealing with that for years. Data scientists, they call them before ML, machine learning engineers. Mm-hmm. And last year we've been only talking to those kind of people because they understood the problem. Now, if you take any kind of security product and try to sell it to AI people, you might end up into one or two fewer scans and usages, and then basically fix those and put it into production, and then they're done. What they care about is only shipping products. So there was a huge challenge for us staying on this offensive path instead of doing just another AI gateway, which a lot of companies did last year, because the security people already felt pain for it. Because if you do security, first you need to do first blue teaming. Traditionally, you first protect before you do any kind of detection, because you can't protect from something you don't know, right? So that's why. But thanks God, my CTO and co-founder, he was really obsessed with the offensive things. He said, like, it's going to be a huge problem. There are going to be new attacks coming out now. Right now with agentic, the complexity of agentic, we'll talk about it, I'm sure, in MCPs. Really, there is no end, and I would say we're in the infancy. So that's why finally budgets are being created within the CISO landscape, which is good. But now we are on the path to educate a lot of security practitioners on how to test for safety and security in AI.
Yeah, and I mean, it's great that we've had the recent Paolo acquisition of Protect AI, and all of that is just creating so much more awareness of the space. How competitive is the vendor landscape in this area of AI security at the moment?
In the first, if you look at first, you would say it's very competitive. But I wouldn't say so, because there's a lot of customers out there and a lot of people like looking at those kind of things. So we found ourselves in many deals with different people, different kind of competitors. Of course, there are bigger deals where we have the competitive landscape against other products, but then we have the competitive landscape against the services companies like HackerOne, Cobalt, Bishop Fox, which are using basically their human skills to do pen testing for AI, right? And then you have internal teams which are want to use open source tools as a kind of a help to do the red teaming. So the competitive situation right now in many deals is different, which means it's a clear indication that the market is still shaping, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like, hey, we're going to have a look at the magic quadrant and we're going to then pick the best ones. We're going to do a RFI, RFP. I've seen only a few RFIs on AI red teaming so far.
It's a hard problem. It's not an easy problem to solve at all. And I guess that brings us on to your R&D team itself. And I mean, you've actually built the team in Croatia, right? Yeah. And what's it been like finding talented AI security R&D talent in Croatia, of all places?
That's our USP basically, because my co-founder Antti was leading a team of 45 people in Croatia for ABL, which is a huge automotive consulting company, and it was building custom software. I was working before for like companies like well-known things like AppDynamics, Udacity, Gartner, and then you basically have you have a finished product which you basically enhance with new features, but you don't do custom software. And I was amazed by him when he presented me the idea back then we started the company. He said, like, there's so much AI talent here, and he was a professor at university as well. So we basically took the main talent there, and we're basically having access to the talent doing AI, which means in the end of the day he has the access to the market and he has the access to the talent in the main two cities. And again, I'm saying we don't have any security people in the company. Maybe quoting Pramod Gosavi, who recently said on LinkedIn, only AI people can solve the problem of AI security. So that's our chance. But we're learning every day. So as you said correctly, we don't have, beside reversing labs, which is also Croatian R&D, we don't have any tradition in terms of security R&Ds in Croatia.
Yeah.
But AI definitely is Croatia with Poland and some other countries in the Eastern European pretty strong in talent. And I would say even about 1,000 people getting out of faculty every year.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. And I guess it could be a driver as well, Croatia being a beautiful country. It's it beats the UK or parts of the US as well as a location opportunity. Yep. And getting onto your background as well, because you first time founder, first time CEO, and have a very strong sales background. And you said to me in the run up to this that everyone was telling you that you were crazy for not just staying as a seller, going the VP route, going the CRO route. Yeah. Why on earth have you started a company?
I mean, everyone who's watching this podcast and my former managers and colleagues know that I've been always different. Like I wasn't really always, I would say, politically correct, and I wanted to speak up. I wanted to have basically my own opinion in my own startup. So my parents actually were entrepreneurs in the restaurant business for 30 years. My colleagues' parents were running an IT business for 20 years. I always had this kind of entrepreneurial mindset, and I knew I'm gonna do it one day, but I never had the right co-founder. So in COVID, basically, when I moved back to Croatia with my family, just to have more sun and enjoy more freedom, because Germany was very restricted, as we know, and I just found him randomly on a plane. His brother-in-law basically referred me to him, like really crazy story. And it's all about being at the right moment and trying to find the right things at the right moment, being there, right? I think it's all destiny, right? If I wasn't finding, if I didn't find him, I would probably be still. I would probably be right now with
just selling.
Yeah, just selling, and I was leading teams, and I think I could have climbed the ladder to being a VP or a CRO one day, which is definitely kind of which was my dream, and it's kind of still intriguing to do that one day, but I wasn't really sure if I want to really climb that political ladder, and because I knew I was good, right?
Yeah.
So I knew I could do it, and I'm still young enough to take this challenge. And what happened, right? What can happen? I can still go back one day. So, but right now we've come so far, right? So there is no giving up, right? So and I think it's important. Going back to your question, I think it's important to have a sales background in the cybersecurity industry, because it's a trust industry. Like I'm now as a CEO getting like 500-600 mails every day. Before I was getting like 70-80. Now you need to filter out who's really legit, who really wants to help you, who's really a good contact. And then I take advice from left and right from trusted people. The same applies to the CISO when he wakes up. He gets like 100 emails inbound in his inbox asking him for taking a meeting. What would you do as a CISO? That's why it's a highly related trust business. And as a salesperson, or let's say a selling CEO, which I mean Jay Chaudhry did always in Zscaler, which I admire him for, is trying to find the right people and contacts which can refer you. This is the security business for me.
And it's such a. You'd think it would be more common to have ex-sellers become founders, but it's not that common. The vast majority of founders are from the technical side of the house, and it's that struggle to get to the early. Well, design partners can often come from their contacts, but that first million and then beyond, and you just any founding team that has an actual accredited sales background as part of it is always going to have an edge.
Problems with salespeople, like I think they're having a very good life if they sell good, and I think the motivation is really missing. If I was doing that for the money, then it wouldn't be the right motivation. I was doing that for a much bigger thing because I wanted to be like more respected in the industry as well as a founder. It's just like different people are talking to you, right? I'm not saying like salesperson should be not respected or whatever, but it's a different game. You're talking to different people. That's the learning for me. You totally change in the way of behavior, the change of thinking, the change of organization, how to lead teams. Now I understand why HR matters, why chief of staff matters. I didn't understand that before. I was only leading team, or I was a first line leader, really aggressive on the sales numbers. I didn't ever understood what HR really wants to bring me on, like, because I was finding the people myself, right? But or with recruiting agencies, right? So which I trust. So I think it's another perspective, and salespeople are just having a good life, and maybe they miss this kind of edge or motivation to step in, and also maybe not trying to or not getting the right founder in there.
Yeah. And so, going back to what you said earlier, you met your co-founder on the plane.
I met his brother-in-law on a plane. I was flying actually to Newcastle, I will never forget. And he's sitting next to me, and we were having a chat, and I told him, okay, one day if you want to open up a company, just call me. Like, I was looking for people. And I was about to create another startup with my brother, like something completely different. And this guy calls me up and say, you know what, my brother-in-law actually needs to show you something. So, and that was exactly when ChatGPT came out, kind of. And I was like, okay, what? So this is going to happen, right?
Yeah.
And I feel weird. And what I did is I introduced him to all my solution engineers, all my peers I know, MongoDB, Lacework, I don't know, Data Robot, name them. And I felt like, okay, wow, this guy is not embarrassing me. He's like even creating value. He's having a good conversation with those people, right? What's going on, right? This is going to be a problem. And this is how it all started.
That is destiny. as you as you said earlier. There's
it's a numbers game, mate. You need to always do the numbers, and it's hard when you get older to do the numbers. When I was 25, 26, and I remember having my first gig at App Dynamics, we went to London. We couldn't go home if we don't book a meeting. Like back then, that was Jeremy Duggan, Steve McCluskey, big names, and Florian was leading me. He said, like, no, you need to book a meeting, mate. Like, imagine doing that today, right?
Yeah.
We had weekly emails and even daily updates on how we were doing basically on the business. So you can't do that right now. People are looking for more work-life balance and stuff.
What's that given you though? Having come from that kind of, I guess, boiler room-esque kind of culture, where it was brutal from the fact that underperformance is just like not allowed essentially. But what's that allowed you to take with you throughout the sales career and now the CEO founder role?
I mean, that's why I think that's the beauty also about our team and the Croatian team. Like, they're really hungry for success. So there is no working weekends, work hours. It's really A++ players. Yeah. So just having a conversation with someone who was asking me, okay, what are the key hires for Series A and stuff? I said, I don't know, but there will be definitely different type of people as we have right now, right? In order to create a startup like this, and I remember last year, my co-founder and myself, we were at RSA exactly here as tourists, as guests. Now we did two rounds in 1 year. We burned the whole team, but we did something. We created actually something which will stay for our whole life. And the people change as the series go, and I think, and the trades will never change. For me, maybe I'm old school in that way, but for me it will never change. I'm looking at the output, of course, the input. I'm not tracking it, but I feel the people are working hard. Feel like working hard, and the output shows it. Right?
Yeah. And I mean, 2 raises in 12 months is intense. Was that a shock? Having not been involved in the investor side or the fundraising side, how did you adjust to that?
Absolute shock, and we did a lot of mistakes in the first round actively, and the investors know that, and it was very hard for us to get traction with the cyber VC. Thanks God we got some European VCs who were trusting us in the idea and whatever, but we did a pre-seed. Like if we were a startup from Israel, Tel Aviv, potentially would not pre-seed, we'll do the seed straight away. So there's kind of hiccups which make you stronger, and you need to find ways around it, right? While in the seed round, we did a pretty decent job, I would say. Like, there was a great FOMO around our traction. We did a lot of, we bootstrapped for a lot of months, employed people also on the team in Croatia. We already had some customers, and then I think the FOMO in the first round was real, and the second one was even bigger. It was just navigating all the VCs, and it takes time, right? And now you understand all the dynamics of venture capital and raising money, and now when people come in the game for the first time, I understand them asking all those questions, and now you would say like it's a dumb question. It's not, because you don't know how it is. You don't know what they're looking for. You don't know what's customer acquisition cost. You don't know all the stuff. Like, that's a learning piece we did in 1 year. You can't pay with money. No money in the world can give you this kind of school.
And you said you made some mistakes with the pre-seed. What ones are you happy to talk about?
I mean, at first we got a term sheet which was pretty low valuation, and we felt okay, but we liked them, the VC, a lot, because they were the first ones putting the term sheet, which is a bold move for a VC, and we were like, we want to do people business, right? So we basically gave them shake hands and said, okay, we are going to accept you, join the round. Thanks God, another VC came and basically gave a higher valuation, but we still let the other ones join. In the end of the day, half a year later, you see those VCs can't really do the cyber game, because in cyber you need to do warm intros to CISOs, which will basically trust the solution to have a look at it. And our VCs in the first round weren't really the ones who were in the VC game. And that's what I learned. So if I would now raise again, I would basically go straight away to a very large seed round and then create some FOMO in the cybersecurity business and go straight to the US. I mean, it took me some while until I basically figured out I need to move to New York to build up the business and be close to the customers. And I think a lot of European founders find themselves in this trap.
So when you were Croatia based, was it were you finding you were having to kind of justify why you were based in
never.
Europe?
I mean, I'm German citizen. I still have my address in Berlin, and I was living in Frankfurt like 10 years plus. I had this type of, I would say, CV, also with Zscaler in the back and stuff. So we never really had problem in Europe to gain traction with customers, get to the right people. The problem was the US because I didn't know people, right? So Europe was never a problem, and even the UK or France was leading to teams in Central Europe. That was never a problem, but I felt the market wasn't ready in Europe. And specifically right now, if you look at the types of testing we do for AI, the why anything in Europe is more related to security, prompt injections, related to EY Act. Are we safe? Are we checking for bias, fact-checking harmful content? While in the US, it's all about QA, it's all about eval, it's all about hallucinations. Are the models are really performing? Are we getting any hallucinations and stuff? Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's exciting, and we're here in RSA 2025 and I walked past your meeting space in the Stay Pineapple this morning, and was surprised to see it as I got out the lift. I was like, I'm meeting Kris later. But what does RSA Week hold for you guys this year? Is it RSA, a big presence? Is there a booth?
I think RSA, if you're a founder in the cybersecurity space, you need to be here, you need to be seen. But I think it's not really a customer focused event, I would say. There's a lot of well-known CISOs, but I was against it this year to have a booth in the expo area. We predominantly, because we have already a lot of contacts here in the US, because we took the chance to meet those people in person, in a meeting room, take 30 minutes and be really, really focused, laser focused on using that time. And of course we had the weekend before B-Sides, because we are very practitioner focused, we're very bottom up. So really.
And is B-Sides better from a customer acquisition perspective?
From a user perspective, absolutely yes. From a buyer perspective, no. From a buyer perspective, I think RSA, Black Hat, InfoSec will be in London, and InfoSec with a big team are really, really important to right now to meet the CISOs.
It's interesting you bring up InfoSec, because I always find the UK conferences they always feel more difficult. I don't know if it's just because it's predominantly Brits, but the US ones, they just have a much easier vibe to network and to actually have productive spur of the moment conversation. So
it's quicker. I mean, that's why we come here. We all come here because of one reason. I mean, knowing myself live it, I can't even believe that I had so many years in Germany, like, without getting so much gray hair, because you're in a deal, right? You know that you're in a POC, whatever, like it takes months or years, and people are getting fired for no reason. I mean, you can't even get fired in Germany, right? So, but people are just hanging around for years, not even doing deals. I think I always felt UK is way quicker, way better in that space. So I wouldn't say the difference is huge, but US is just another speed. It's just another speed, and it's not for everyone. Actually, you need to adopt, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And how has the kind of move been from a personal perspective to New York?
It's easier than I thought. I like the East Coast, so even though I'm every month on the West Coast, because AI adoption is happening here mostly, but I see New York picking up. I really like New York. It's cosmopolitan. It's neighborhoods from any kind of culture. So I'm in Astoria, Queens, basically a lot of Croatian heritage and German. So good food, and it's not that bad, you know, flying from Frankfurt like about 7-8 hours, and it's fine. And from a personal perspective, it was the right thing to do so, and from a business perspective, even better. We're still now thinking if we should open up an office, like even in San Francisco, but my people are across the country. So I have a CISO in Idaho, head of solution engineering is in Michigan, sales AE is in Boston. So it's I'm still thinking about it, right? Also in terms of hiring perspective, and what are the next steps, and what do we need actually? What's the playbook for hiring in cybersecurity? That's something which I'm really interested in, really. So not everything works for everyone, right? We talked just about demand gen this morning, and I said, okay, do you really want to hire first product marketing, or do you want to have demand gen, or do you want to have a director of VP marketing?
And we work with and speak with companies where what works for one is the complete opposite of what the other should do. And we kicked off a project last week where that early stage founder was in a situation where actually hiring 2 BDRs made much more sense first than hiring a rep. And it's sometimes it makes sense to hire SEs or solutions architects beforehand. It's very much case by case on what's going to work with our sales side.
I think the cybersecurity space, people are getting so much emails and stuff. I think the BDRs don't work, the classic BDRs as we know them. I would rather expect a kind of a hybrid BDR slash AE, kind of a junior AE, which is basically doing the outreach and the cold calling, but also sitting and can explain and can convert basically to the POC.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing how it all pans out, and seeing your presence get bigger and bigger with each year that goes by, and eager to kind of finish off the pod and hear what should people be looking out for. You've just released your version 4 product. I mean, what's happening next?
If you're building LLMs or with LLMs or LLM powered applications, basically you should reach out. So we do the security testing for AI security, safety, hallucinations, LLM eval, and any type of offensive things for AI. And then basically advise later on remediation steps. We're very unique in the market with our system prompt hardening, which means we take the system prompt of the original chatbot or LLM and automatically create a new one after testing. So creating the context changing and stuff. So really, the white hats here who try to basically do adversarial testing for the good. And then, of course, remediation then is kind of another approach with gateway and other stuff. So, but trying to be the keep the leader at shift left and helping the red teamers out there to be more efficient.
Awesome. Well, let's make it happen, man. Thank you so much for coming on.
All the best.
And enjoy the rest of RSA.
Thank you for listening. If you've enjoyed today's show, please like and share with your friends and colleagues, as this is really important for the show's reach. If you'd like to be our next guest or are interested in Aspiron Search's staffing solutions, please get in touch directly with me or reach out to us via our website, www.aspironsearch.com.